Hey everybody, this is Dr. Joe Borio, this week's Health Kick. I'm excited. It's January, new year. Everybody makes what at the beginning of January? Resolutions. Number one resolution that everybody makes, get back in shape and losing weight. Not necessarily in that order. Sometimes it's just losing weight, sometimes it's getting in shape. So let's talk about that. There's such a huge push at this time of the year, and it's a common question I get in my office. And I see a lot of people do the wrong thing, and I see a lot of people start off with this huge amount of energy and vigor, and then that starts to wane by March. So let's talk about some suggestions about losing weight and getting into shape and starting the new year off right, because the goal here isn't to start with a bang and finish with a fizzle, right? Because what'll happen, you might get in shape and you might drop some pounds, but come March or April, you go right back to the old habits, and then what happens? December, you're probably by the summer, you're right back to where you started, and who wants to do that? So we hear about lifestyle changes, you hear all these things, but let's really look at this in a realistic fashion. First off, my recommendation to everybody is don't start off with a program that you don't see yourself continuing on a consistent basis. Now, what the heck do I mean by that? Let's say you're going to go to the gym. Everybody joins the gym, they get in there, and they start doing an hour and a half to 2 hour workout. Or, maybe it's a 2 hour commitment. You got to drive to the gym. You got to change. You got to go there. You do some small talk with some people that you know. You leave. You shower, you change, or maybe you wait till you get home, whatever. But by the time you drive home, that might be an hour and a half, 2 hour commitment. That's a lot. That's a lot of time, and it's really difficult for most people to keep up that level of commitment. So what happens is you commit to that huge amount of time, and after a few days, something will happen. You might have a little injury, you might have a stress in your life, God forbid somebody dies, or a relationship problem, or a work problem, or something with the kids or their schedule, and now you're off schedule, and now you can't get back in the gym. Once you break that pattern, you can't get back into the gym. So what I tell you to do is find out realistically the days and the amount of time that you can realistically commit to going to the gym. Now, the reality is a lot of people have about an hour, give or take, to really commit to the gym. And some of us don't even have that. That might maybe 45 minutes. So you got 10, 15 minutes to get to the gym. So you got to find a gym that's close, that's on the way home, that's a really good location. You got to find something that's convenient for you. That's really important. So the gym you might be going to might be great, but it's a half hour, 45 minutes out of the way, and that eats up in your time of the day. So you want to get a gym that's convenient, okay? And then you want to pick a workout, a routine, something that's simple, that's quick, that's fast and efficient, something that's productive, something that's going to make you healthy. So now you've got a workout routine that maybe is a half hour, 40 minutes. Guys, listen, you might say that's not a lot of time. Done consistently, a half hour, 45-minute workout is very powerful. Remember, it's not the really important advice. It's not the intensity of the workout. It's the consistency that gets you and keeps you in shape. In other words, I can work out really hard for 3 months, but if I stop after 3 months, within a month or two, I'm right back to where I started, right? But if I do a lot less, but I'm consistent, guess what? I get in better shape every single month. 12 months later, I'm in better shape than I was when I started in January, and I got a great routine that I can continue for the whole year. So that's really important. Find a gym that's local, that's on the way, that's convenient. Do a routine that's very, very productive, that's functional, that's efficient. It's certainly going to help you reach some goals, but that's consistent. And then you want to do the number of days that are realistic too. A lot of people, I'm going to work out 6-7 days a week. I happen to be one of those people, but not everybody can do that. Some people can only do 3 days a week, or 2 days a week, or 5 days a week, or whatever. So pick a schedule that's going to work for you. When you miss that day, don't try to make that day up. You miss that day. So if you're doing, let's say, chest and shoulders and tries on Monday, and you miss that day, then that day isn't going to start over again until next Monday. Don't try to make that day up. Just jump right in on the next schedule on Tuesday or Wednesday, or whatever your schedule is. Okay, so that'll help out a lot. Let's talk about foods quickly here. When it comes to foods, my best advice for you is that you want to add a living food on every single meal. That's the best piece of advice I can give you, because so often it's very difficult to take things away. It's tough to take something out of your diet. I'm not talking about the junk that we eat during the holidays, because that temptation and those cookies and stuff, that stuff's not around anymore. I'm talking about the regular food that you eat on a regular basis. I'm saying don't even worry about taking anything away right now. Just add a living meal. So I know this might be an extreme for some, and some of you probably not. But let's say you're drinking soda for breakfast with a donut and a cigarette. God forbid. I mean, it turns my stomach to even think about it. But let's say that's what you're doing. Don't stop that. Add an apple. Add a banana. Add some living, healthy food in the morning. You know, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, whatever. Add a smoothie, something else added to what you're already doing. And then you do that for 1 month. So in 1 month, you're adding living food for every meal. Then in a month, you take one thing away. You take one thing away. You do that for a month. And then the next month, you take something else away, and something else away, and something else away. And what happens is in about 6 months, and that's how long it takes, because psychology tells us it takes 28 days to form a habit. To create a bad habit, or to change a bad habit, to take away a bad habit, okay? So knowing that, you've got about 30 days to make that habit. So that's why you want to make changes incrementally every 30 days. The goal here is now I've got a real convenient workout that's a half hour, 45 minutes, no more than an hour out of my day. I can tell you right now, the hour is the goal. So getting to the gym, changing, working out, changing back or driving back home or whatever, that whole thing shouldn't really take more than an hour. Most people can fit that in. More than an hour is really tough. Then you're adding a living meal, a living food, with every meal for 1 month, and then February starts or early February starts. Then what you do is you start taking things away. Now, what's taking things away? Take away certain things out of your diet. Listen, you don't need me to tell you what's bad for you, right? I mean, drinking soda for breakfast, having a candy bar for breakfast, having a donut or a Danish for breakfast. I'm not saying it doesn't taste great. I'm saying it's not good for you. Your body doesn't want that. What's your body want in the morning? It wants fruits. It wants energy. It wants some protein. It wants some the healthy carbohydrates and healthy fats. It wants things to help repair, but primarily develop energy during the day, and that's what it wants at lunch. The end of your day, you want to increase your proteins and drop your fat, and certainly no carbohydrates. So in the morning, you want healthy carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. Like I said, fruits are really great for you. A little lower on the protein, a little higher on the fat, the healthy fats. Dinner time comes. What do we want at dinner? We want proteins. That's it. You can do a little bit of fat, healthy fat, no carbohydrates. When you lay down in bed, you don't need energy to sleep. Your body's already got all that energy. If you load up with a bunch of carbohydrates, what do I mean by that? Even the good ones. Even if you're eating a whole wheat bread, or mashed potatoes, the whole potato, or brown rice, even the good ones, you don't want to have them at the last meal of the day. You want to have those healthy carbs early in the day, high amount of protein at the end of the day. That's going to keep your glucose down. That's going to keep your insulin level down. It's going to help cortisol levels and get really crazy with all the chemistry of the body. The reality, that's the protocol. Add a living meal, start taking the junk out. Take the easiest thing out first. If you're somebody that's a smoker, if you're somebody that's eating really bad and a lot of junk with sodas and candy and stuff, maybe that's not the first place to start. Maybe take away some things that are a little easier at first and then work towards that. A couple of closing statements here, and that is that Vince Lombardi, great football coach, said that the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. So that's why the more you commit to something, working out and eating better, it's a lot harder for you to surrender and eat junk. And that's what I find. The harder I work out, the harder that I stay strict on my diet, it's easier for me to turn away those temptations of junk food, because I'm like, man, I put so much effort into eating good and staying healthy that I don't want to jeopardize it by putting that in my body. So that's really important. So think about that. Another important one is that the coward dies 1,000 deaths, but the hero dies but once. And that's out of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. What that basically means is by being a coward, I don't mean that necessarily in the literal sense, but by somebody trying rather than making a full commitment, you're going to have to sacrifice quitting smoking 1,000 times, or sacrifice eating well 1,000 times, or sacrifice taking really good care of yourself 1,000 times. Whereas if you just make the decision once, this is the line in the sand, I'm not going to do it anymore, it'll be a lot easier. Listen, we're out of time. This has been Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Health Kick. Remember, eat well, exercise, drink a lot of water, good night's sleep, a lot of good self-talk. Remember, you, your mother, your father, your kids, your grandparents, your grandkids, everybody you know in your community needs to be under regular chiropractic care to keep the brain functioning healthy to the body. Have a great, healthy week. Happy New Year. Talk to you guys next week.